question is there. Okay. So parable ends there. The animal was instantly killed. Okay. If you continue,
Hmm.
um, where will you continue? If you continue writing the parable, adding four a few more lines, what would be your next lines?
Um,
Next line will be, ah,
All right. Okay. First line, wow. Huh? Ah.
wow.
Okay. Second.
When we analyzed last time the tears of the woodcutter flowing down when the animal is killed. Um,
Not clear. Not clear. Once again.
no, the film situation that we discussed, like about what would be if it is a film, what would be the final scene?
Yeah. Final scene. Yeah.
Yeah, woodcutter having a few tears when the animal is killed,
Why?
and because it's a relief, he didn't have to do anything, and then the nature took over. So it's something.
That tears is of what is the grounding of the tears? What is the
Tears of joy and
finance?
relief.
No. Okay. Kind of great positive mysterious wonder, right?
Yes.
Then okay. Then
Then would he remember next time when he has got
no 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 no
no?
no no continue. No, that is all
Okay,
next.
okay, okay, okay,
He
okay.
is sitting there.
Hmm.
Wood is cut. He is sitting there. After that
Uh,
wow and the wonderful tears and all that, he is sitting there. Can you see he is sitting there? His back resting on the tree.
hmm.
It's already cut down. And what all things he is wondering now.
He must be very thankful. He will be very thankful, grateful
To what? To whom? To what?
to the nature, to
No, no, no. That's a
that.
very general answer. No, no. More, be more specific. No.
Um, can someone feel just grateful, not to anything, just grateful?
Uh, that is very unusual. Grateful by the concept of gratefulness and the referent of grateful, it is direct to an object.
Okay.
grateful to his luck.
It could be oneself. I mean, it is directed to a target.
Hmm.
The
Grateful to
concept
his
and
luck.
the referent of grateful and the linkages of relative gratefulness feeling is always to something. It could be oneself also, but it is
Hmm.
always directed to something. What is that?
The woodcutter asking permission from the tree. Um, so it kind of implies that he has that communication with the tree and the nature around him.
No, no,
So
no. You are not interpreting. No, no, no. You have to mind. You have to respond to the question, Mika.
mm,
On the grateful part, he is
You
grateful
might
to
be
his
doing
luck.
in your work situation, but there is no guarantee that your responses are really creative and okay. That is what the purpose of our discussions also. You
mm,
are already doing that. That's why you are reaching high position. Now, the question is, he
It's
is sitting there.
16:30.
What are thoughts, if you can list it down, passing through the mind? First, let us say there is a wow.
mm.
Secondly, there is a
Tears,
full tears in his eyes.
tears of
Due
joy.
to due to that mysterious and the
Mm,
kind of effort he had put in
mm,
to kill the animal where he could not succeed, and where he continued the act of red cutting, and the axe was slipped away from its handle and instantly killed the animal.
mm.
The axe part, the iron part slipped away from the handle.
Yes.
The words of the parable are critical. The handle was with him only,
Mm.
but the axe that what is that?
The
It doesn't
blade.
have name. What is axe? It involves the handle also. You
Mm,
know. Anyway, the iron part, the sharp tool of the axe, that got slipped out of the handle and instantly and hit on the neck that
mm,
is mentioned in the paragraph. Instantly killing it.
mhm.
Okay, therefore there's a vow, and
Yes.
yes,
And
and he continued to cut the tree.
yes, so he
It happened
collected
that
the he
it
collected
happened
the
in
blade,
he collected the.
the axe.
Yeah, that's a good reference thinking. Yeah, okay, okay, okay. Good. That is one important thing. Yeah, he did that. Okay. Then
He could be feeling grateful to the axe also because it is the primary tool that he is using
yeah,
every day.
whether he did or not, the feeling of gratefulness or wonder is about the blade of the axe.
Mm,
Because I don't know whether you're familiar with the axes. I am familiar. I have cut a lot of wood with axe. So when we were children, there was now what you call cooking gas and all that. Almost once in 2 days, I had to cut the wood into firewood shape of logs. So the axe is made in such a way that it cannot slip.
mm,
That's the very design of the axe. There are two, three different ways of fixing the blade on the hand. All the three ways are such that you would never slip out of. The handle may, if it is old wood and all that, handle may break or the portion where the wood is fixing the, that will make, but that's all when carelessly made action things like that. So, yeah, the first thing is wonder
mm.
about how that blade slipped out of the handle. So you must have definitely taken that axe from the grass and examined it, and you must have looked at the handle and definitely you must have spent some time on it. Not out of it. It's a good reference reality perception nevertheless, Nitya. Okay.
Okay.
That is called referent reality perception.
Mm,
Which film directors are really good at it. A good film director is good at referent reality perception. Rather, he is creating a referent reality. The scriptwriter write the script, of course, and the good screenplay writer would write the screenplay also. But it is the wonder of the magic of the creative perception of the director, by which he creates the exact setting or sequence and the positioning of the characters and the positioning of the other critical elements in the setting.
mhm.
Okay? Yeah, that's what he did. Why he had to do that?
To finish cutting the tree.
Exactly. Exactly, because the tree was only half cut.
Mm,
That kind of a referentiality perception happens out of your questioning.
mhm,
Right now, I ask the question, but you also train yourself to ask questions. Not ask questions or what you call that internal dialogue of investigation
mm,
about the why and how and what and when and where and which of a situation or a context or an idea or whatever. That's how I discovered the rasayanas. That's why I discovered the use of the rasayanas.
mm,
Mind you, nobody in the history of the world, you see, such a lot of forget about word, history of so-called medical practitioners, that was such a stupid word. Okay, great Vaidyas and great geniuses. None of them could do what I have done in the 4 or 5 cases. That is because I could see through the referent of each one of those items and what it does uh, in creating the consequences listed in under each of the reserves. Okay, and identifying that this could be this item from 20 listed ingredients in one particular reserve and this tree from another reserve, and this was from another reason. Actually, today I have done that. And this configuration is quite possible to provide a result in the other thing. And the required, what you call the requirement analysis. That's what I have been talking to that father. That was calling me from Kuwait, whose daughter is the 29.5-year-old lady. Yesterday, the mother called me at 11 o'clock and she was sort of talking with tears in her eyes about something wonderful the girl did. She never
Mm.
expected. Yeah. Anyway, that's not, I don't have to think about that. So the point is, reference reality perception. It's all very high. Okay, in my case, it is required. Your case is not that essential, but as I told, why do we do this? Is not that you need to do all these things. Just a jnana yoga, just flying in the air, like why Hillary climbed Everest. That's all. Hillary would not be climbing further and getting a job of climbing Everest. Okay. He did that so that he could feel it. He and he only could feel it. Others might be observing it and feeling just wonderful. What you call wondering at the show, wondering at the dance or a recital or a band performance or a painting and all that. But the painter gets the feel, or the film director gets the feel. That's why if you observe, you know so many wonderful films. I don't know whether you remember the director of any one of those films. They don't want to, actually. They just don't want to. Because they feel so bloody good about them. Because they only realize that this feeling did not exist before that.
Mhm.
See? This feeling covering so many scenes and twists and situations that did not exist before. He did not copy it from somewhere. He did not duplicate it from somewhere. It was completely originated within him. That gives him that feeling. Because originality is the highest order. As I told you, I am the only one in the world of creative researchers who differentiate in between creation, discovery, invention, originality, genius. There's clear difference between creation and origination. So it originates from within. So you are through these sessions, you are experiencing that origination, whether you talk it or not, or you are traveling through the potentially highest heights of concepts and reference. Of course, we do not really go all the time to concept, reference and reference realities. We do not go. That's it. Except occasional glance of reference realities. So right now, in this parable, we will try to go little bit of reference. Reference is the situation here. That is, he just realized that the axe slipped out of the hand and the animal got killed. There was the so-called vow, whatever, and getting back almost reflexively sitting down, standing on the tree, standing on the tree, and tears fell down. For not only the reason what Nitya said, there is one more wonderful reason. You know what it is?
Relief, joy.
No, no, no.
There.
Yeah, that's okay. That's what you like that. Yes, yes. But there is another reason also, potential reason.
Is he sad for Satori?
What?
Is he sad about what happened to Satori, perhaps?
Exactly,
Mm.
exactly. That animal
Hmm.
killed that moment so smartly. When he, the most experienced woodcutter, woodcutting, you know what? It's terrible exercise to the hands and the body. Huh?
Hmm.
Despite all his attempts, the animal was smartly moving till that point, and that great enemy has fallen down. It may be difficult for the normal minds to believe it, what Tintin said. But yeah, and that enemy falls down, there will be a sudden vacuum. It doesn't
Hmm.
exist.
Yeah.
It's almost for a great mind, it will be definitely sadness only.
Yes.
But for a real competitor, the competitor on stand one must be thankful to the guy on the second position. Because unless she or he was there to compete with, he could not prove his first position. Real athletes would hug him and kiss him. And that's a different story. But here we are talking about a parabolic woodcut. Actually, the first reason for his tears was that only.
Hmm.
So when I tell this to you, I remember an incident beautifully, poetically narrated in Journey to Islam of Carlos Castaneda. Remember?
Hmm.
What?
Journey to.
Excellent.
Islam, one of the books of Carlos Castaneda. There's
Uh-huh.
a beautifully narrated, which comes in context of this Satari getting killed and the tears coming out of the woodcutter.
During sunset,
Ah,
he has some experiences.
no, not that. Corresponding with this, almost linkageable with this. If you don't remember, I will tell you, then you may remember. But I will narrate the entire event. Carlos, when he was doing his postgraduate program in anthropology in the University of California, once in a while he used to go to the farm of his uncle in a distance.
Um, yeah.
Once
You
in
went
the uh, the uncle or poor, he repeated his situation.
okay.
Last time he went there also, he had said this. He said there is a particular eagle. So beyond his farm was a series of hills with eucalyptus trees. And this uncle had a huge chicken farm. So this time when he visited, the uncle told Carlos, he gave him his double barrel gun and said, this day you go only after killing the eagle. Because for the last 2 3 months I have been waiting for that eagle, and at least 7 or 8 times it came in front of me and snatched the chicken. In very front of me. If it was from a little other part of the flock, it was okay. And I could not touch it. And I am an experienced shooter who can shoot a flying bird. So anyway, you have to do this. I lost my sleep. Okay. So one day, Carlos also was a good shooter, and he collected bread and butter jam and whatever in a sorted bag. And he and uncle said, he is somewhere in this Finland.
Hmm.
That he had studied its entire movements. Uncle. So he went there for like a hunter many places. By afternoon he was completely tired. He could not see. Once again by afternoon he was completely tired, not able to locate the eagle, and he sat down under a tree and fell kind of asleep. And then after he heard a sound of dry leaves moving. Instantly he realized that it is the sound made by the bird. And as a hunter, he just kept his position like that and moved here and there, and he realized that the bird is in that particular tree only. Okay. And he looked up. The bird was sitting on a branch of the tree, and the gun was, of course, planted on the tree. He needs to just move that gun about 2 inches. The gun would be straight away aiming the bird. We need to only pull the trigger. He moved it and saw the bird straight by the viewpoint of the gun. He placed his finger on the trigger and he looked at the bird. He felt the bird is absolutely unaware of all these things going on.
Mm.
Then he thought, "This for whole 5 hours I have been wandering around this hill locating this bird. I could not find it. And they are sitting in the tree exactly where the bird is sitting. eh, And it does not know what I'm sitting here and able to do. So what is the point in killing it?
Mhm.
So we just sat there for some more time, stood up, walked back, and told uncle that I could not locate it.
Mm.
He went back to the person. And there's some grounding for this narration.
Mm.
It's something that Carlos narrated to Don Juan. Because Don Juan at one point of time told him, "You have this destiny to meet me because you have done something wonderful in your life. You are a
Mm.
good student, of course. You are a determined student. And when you wanted to do your doctoral thesis, you wanted to do on something very focused and you did everything. You are ready to die for it. So you are here for the last 6 years. Okay? If somebody else would collect the data in 6 months and go, you are here for 6 years. That shows you are powerful. And you are powerful because of some wonderful thing that you did. Then he thought was something that is very wonderful, according to the scale of Donnie and especially. And they said, no, I don't think I was in the hostel. I was a good student, and nothing worth I remember. Then Don Juan gave him a clue. It's about a bird.
Mm.
He talks about hunting, no? Whoever hunts for power should be a good hunter.
Good.
Whoever hunts for power should be a good hunter. I mean, whoever is seeking power should be a good hunter.
Yeah, yeah.
And he said he would have been a hunter. And then he narrates this.
Yeah. I remember the critical linkages. So you did not do that. That was your fault. Had it did it, that was not your fault. So there's a great lot of things in that. Coming back to the woodcutter sitting there, what is the next thing he was reflecting upon? Okay, here, what he actually did is, of course, after inspecting the ash and refixing it, he had to continue the cutting. So that was the decision. And that's why all this happened, because so he continued the cutting. So he finished the cutting, the tree fell down, and then he stayed there. And then what was, then Nitya, now part of the opinion, when you narrate something or when you tell something, or when you instruct something to some other person, you should have a completely uncorruptible, very truthful, genuine intent to make that person realize or discover or identify or feel what you're talking.
Mm.
Yeah. That's what is guiding me.
Hmm.
You have a clear intent. That energy is communicating it, yeah, not the language.
Yes.
If the language is communicating, almost every student in class 10 would have been getting first class. If every parent must be talking a whole lot of stories to the child, so he should get good marks. So you have to train yourself to how that is actually the mind of no mind. Mind of no mind is not emptiness. It means an intent uncorrupted by linkages which are against the intent. They are not completely supportive to the intent. Then secondly, that unconditional love or concern or regard for the person. And then of course an effortless communication, effortless problem, uninterrupted by anxieties and fears and worries and doubts. Because most of the parents, when they tell the child to study, along with that, they will add some futuristic doubts also.
Mm.
If you do not get this in the situation, you have to do that because of this and this and this. Look at the other person, etc., etc., etc. And in a home where the parents tell where a child is performing, they also talk this only. But I have observed at least 6 or 7 situations where I could see that most of the corresponding linkages, if he did not study, are mentioned, or a certain anxiety was obvious in the dialogues. So, get the point.
Mm.
So, not applicable in this case. What I am telling is, when Nitya is for someone training the other person, you should be, of course, you are sincere, your intent is clear, but there should be that unconditional concern for the person. In fact, for I know about how Christian priests are trained. You know, they have to undergo 12 years of rigorous training in the monastery. Almost every day, the talk or the training would end up by referring to the love of Jesus only. I have witnessed at least 20, 25 times. The suggestion to Skinner, sorry, fall in the hostel where I was staying, there is my
The
flat
seminary.
missing on a highway. Just go out, there's a gate, and cross the gate, the beautifully maintained campus of Mangalpur Seminary, kind of it, Indian.
No, sir.
Alava.
Yeah, that is
Oh,
one of the largest seminaries in Kerala state. A huge when I go, mainly because there were two people attending in my class. They were staying there only. So they were very fond of me to listen to me. And I think at least once in a month, definitely I have to be taken there. And I enjoyed the talks on yesterday and then the staying of it. So I was surprised. I noticed particularly every session would end up by if I abruptly so then there is some other talks, etc., etc. But every time they will be reminded of the love of Jesus and the love they should have to the people. That's why only Christianity says God is love. That is the Catholic principle. So that love, there will be several talks about defining that love. This is only an English word, but the concept of that love, not the conjugal love or the love for the children or love for the relatives or the love for the friends. That so-called, it's not even unconditional. That love for actually the only one real leader you can refer to is Jesus only. Okay, Krishna has talked about that. Krishna had this concern for the Radhas and other people, etc., etc., etc. But the foundation of a so-called ideology, so-called religious ideology, based on love, is only with the so-called Catholic philosophy of religion. Thank you. So we have to investigate that love because that's a fundamental phenomenon of human existence. Yeah. What else? What else is a fundamental condition of human existence?
Good.
At least love, love for oneself. Okay. So love is kind of a state of mind. It is to be kind of an energy flow. You are available. You are like water flow. The you, that creature of the you, is there for everything else. Kind of. That love will flow even to the grass and the little insect on the blade of the grass, or the butterfly, or the birds, or the trees, or the ants, or included. See, that is much more greater than loving another human being who cooperates with you in your loneliness or in your interactions or etc. etc. That of course is also meaningful, but I would say greater dimension of love is love towards everything in the nature process. So is it love? No. It's a kind of a feeling one with it. So love is a kind of a yoga. You feel unified. You feel one of them. One of what? One of the birds. One of the trees. That doesn't mean in a normal logic you do not cut the trees or do not some grass, etc., etc. No. That is the foundation of the tears in the eyes of the Woodcutter. That's why he sought permission from the trees.
It's 17 hours.
And if you look deeply into that, his love for the tree only rendered him what Nitya called the discipline of one time finishing it off. And the animal got killed by the power of that love only. You got it? Yeah.
Mm.
Because the invariant, the contest of all this thing is coming and cutting the tree.
Yep.
Cutting the tree, meaning, this is the word kill. Killing it. Of course, you cannot do it by a single cut. So that is the procedure. So it is when that tree was agreeing for a sacrifice, you know,
Mm.
because it is agreeing to what?
To get cut.
To get cut. To be
So
cut.
it's on death, it's on annihilation.
Mm.
All these are the domains and orbits of higher order creative sensitivity. If yours like any other woodcutter go just like that cut a tree and all, then that is not the story here. That is not the reference reality we are discussing here. So that tree was ready to be sacrificed. So it is the ultimate responsibility of you to get it done as quickly and as fast as possible with a tree. And when he was doing that expression of his discipline, powered by the love and commitment of the sacrificed tree, that's how and then the person tried his best to get kill the animal, not working. But by that mysterious force or the power of his love. Only good. The animal feel. Make sleep progress. Get it?
Mm.
Yeah. Now, do you enjoy the parable?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yes.
Grateful to the parable.
Yeah.
Yes. Grateful to you.
Yeah. No. Actually, I have tears almost in front of my eyes right now.
I think about 10 to 12 years back was when I heard and we discussed this parable, and that was in Kalimangalam.
Yeah, this parable, right? Yeah.
Yes,
But we have never gone this deep to the parable.
we haven't gone this deep into it.
Because I was waiting, we will, because unless the different reality happens, you have to be prepared. That's why I said sometime back, though we talk about concept and referent reality, we have seldom gone beyond the concepts. Now we have gone a little deeper
This is so humbling.
to the referent reality of that event provided in the conceptual framework of the parable. So learn to evolve into that state of love, even when you quarrel with somebody. That does not mean that, okay, normal logic is not applicable. That's also why Jesus said, forgive your enemy. There is not even forgiving. The enemy is not in the picture at all. But if there is a situation, forgive. So most of the time, the individual is so tempted, so compelled to retaliate or to react because of the lack of consistency of that feeling, that state of love in that person. That's it.
Yeah, that state is not constant. I happen to fall into that state once in a while.
You happen to fall into that.
State of feeling love once in a while. It is never consistent. It's never.
That's okay. Once in a while, of course. That means when the situation comes, right? Yeah, comes. So otherwise, you are okay. You are just there. You do your work. You go to the office. You drive your car. You do your work. All this all when the situation comes. The entire world is like that only. Like Tibetan yoga says, entire life is a preparation to manage the death. Similarly, when there are arrangements and discussions, etc., with the bride's family or bridegroom's family is just for one day. So somebody may spend 500 rupees or 5,000 rupees, somebody may spend even 500 crores for that day. But it is all for that day and for that moment of tying the value. That makes the entire work meaningful. That's nothing. You don't have to have a wedding every day. So that is the beauty. That is all. That's enough. So once in a while it's quite beautiful, wonderful. So you should be able to explain love to an audience. Okay, one day. Nitya, how do you think? Okay. And use this parable. Parabolic. Parables are wonderful. It only gives a framework for the receptor's data system to place that discovery. this into this framework that wedding with the concept of love should happen. Get the point?
This is very spiritual.
What?
This interpretation.
Yeah, well, of the parable, huh?
Hmm.
Yeah. So you mean to say that love at that level is spiritual, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, of course. Of course. It's not romantic, it is not person focused, it is not anything focused.
Mhm.
It's just the quality of your attendant spirit. You're ready to flow, which is so obviously manifesting in the expression of every child, I mean little child at least. They say genius is often compared to the state of mind of a child. Just combined, but most of the geniuses are not at that level. But genius himself we are talking to is definitely at that level only.
And there's no expectation also.
Yeah, definitely. There are absolutely there is. Because it is spiritual. There is no spirit is spirit is spirit. It is just pure energy. It is pure love. And the most critical, well-known example of love is definitely only in the case of Jesus. Nobody else.